Okay guys, we're here on the 65 Mustang. I just wanted to go over this because I haven't seen a whole lot of videos out there. I've seen a couple. How to get your stock shifter to actually work with the AOD. Of course, I did the 5.0 and the AOD transplant into my 65, so I'll kind of explain what I've done and the process I've had to go through. So this shift lever here is the original one that came off the AOD, and this one would have been in the down position in the transmission like this, and then where my pinky finger is, that's where the actual cable would have come to. Well, I'm not using the cable on mine, I'm using a rod. So the rod I bought also came with this lever here. So it had to go into the up position, which was basically like this. Okay, so you can see it's kind of got this dog leg right here, and I'll explain a problem I ran into and what I did to alleviate that. So let's go underneath the car here. All right, so if we go up under here, you can see what I did here is I went and I bought the low car AOD shift lever. It was like 50 bucks. And back up here, you can see the rod right there. And it's got these ends on it right there. And then back over here, it's got the ends there. Now this rod and this dog leg shift lever right here that I bought came, it was like $29 CJ Ponies or one of those great places. But the problem I was having is when I had this dog leg in here like this, when it was going down to go all the way into low, this bar right here was hitting it and actually would not let it go into first gear, and it was really tough going into second gear. This low car shift lever has really alleviated that. It's just a straight up and down. When I put it in a basically at the 12 o'clock position. When I first set it up, I could still get it into second and first, but the shift indicator up in the car, which I'll show you here in a minute, was only basically going down into about drive. So all I did is I just basically loosened up this nut back here where my finger is, and then I just slid it all the way down. And now when we get up there, I'll show you, it basically the indicators are right where they need to be. Right now, you can see right here, if I can get my finger out of the way, where am I? Over here, you can see it's in park, and then it's got reverse, neutral, drive, second, and first. So I'll try to go through the range of motions here with you. My TV cable, which is going to come right down here, is going to be fine. It's not going to have any problems hooking up. Yeah, I did have to I had the pan on, was ready to put fluid in it, but I wanted to address this linkage problem. And you can see I've got plenty of clearance going there into my trans body. Up here, I've got plenty of clearance here. And this bar was actually hitting on my VSS sensor, but now it shifts through the range. I've got plenty of clearance, so it's going to work fine. So now let's go up into the car, and I'll actually show you as I go through these shift motions that it pretty much goes where it needs to go. So yeah, can't really see it too well, but there's park, there's reverse, it's lined up, there's neutral, it's lined up. Now we're in overdrive, there's drive, and when I come back, we are now in low. So when you come back down here, and I'll show you the shift lever right here, so you can actually see now that that's actually in low. Where are we? There we are. And then we'll see if we can get it to go. I might not be able to do it from down here. Oh, there we go. So you can see, it's going right through. There you go. That's second. And then we go here, drive, reverse, and so forth. So now everything's lined up. I know everything's good. I got the TV cable, which let me get that. So this will basically go on right here. Where is it? Right there. Maybe not. Yeah, there you go. You can see it. And I've tested this. This is all working. That's good. It's springing back. You can't really see it, but back up and there, if I get my finger out of the way, there's part of the spring. There's just a lever you want to make sure it's actually on the throttle, the TV valve plunger, I guess you would call it. You want to make sure that this is actually in that little groove, and as it goes through the motions, it basically, where am I? Oh, right here. It just goes through the motions. You just want to make sure that that's in there, and mine's all good. And I'm good to go. So I'm ready to button it back up. I've gone through all the motions I can with the pan off, so I shouldn't have to pull the pan again. If you do need to do this, I would recommend going to, you can just type in AOD shift linkage, Monster Transmissions, has a real good tutorial on basically how to do this. It's kind of time consuming. If you got the trans out of the car, obviously it would be a little bit easier, but I've already got mine in, so I don't have to. So once again, if you can see, there's my cable, or not my cable, I'm sorry. There goes my, that's my shift rod, goes all the way up. Plenty of clearance on the shock tower, or not shock tower, a trans tunnel. I got plenty of clearance here, plenty of clearance on my VSS sensor. So I'm going to tighten it up, get the pan back on, and move on to hopefully getting my exhaust on in the next week or two. I'm finally going to be able to try to start this sucker up. So I hope this is beneficial, because I haven't, like I said, seen too many videos out there with you know, how do you basically convert an AOD over to an older style Mustang, and the process that you have to go through. So the TV cable is going to be pointing down, that shift rod's going to be pointing up. I've seen some people will actually cut this and then add on and drill holes. And if that's your thing, then, you know, hey, more power to you. Do what works for you. But you know, I figured I'm already in the rabbit's hole, so for an additional $50, just get that low car basically shift lever. Just basically took a lot of the heartache out of guessing, drilling. You know, you just put it on there and just adjust it accordingly. So I hope you guys find this informational.